You've been feeling it, haven't you? That quiet ache in your spirit, the sense that this world no longer feels like home. That's not depression, that's not confusing. That's your soul remembering where it came from. When the soul grows weary of reincarnating, it begins to whisper, and then it begins to roar. The time has come for your soul to awaken. You are not broken, you are awakening. You were never meant to fit in, you were meant to remember. The pain, the isolation, the endless search for meaning, all of it has been preparing you for this moment. You are one of God's chosen ones, called to return home to the light, not through escape, but through recognition. If these words are resonating in your spirit, comment 777 below. That's your declaration of remembrance. Follow this channel, support through super thanks if you feel led, and walk with us as we uncover the sacred codes of awakening. To everyone in this community, thank you. Your presence here means more than you know. You are not alone in your solitude. Your silence has been your initiation. Together, we rise, we remember, and we return. So tell me, what is your soul trying to tell you in this moment of awakening? God's chosen ones, signs your soul is ready to return home to the light. There comes a time when the soul simply gets tired. It's not the kind of tiredness that is physical nor emotional. It's something deeper, something that only the soul can understand. This is the kind of exhaustion that settles into your being, a quiet, heavy weariness that you can't quite shake off. It's as though you've lived many lifetimes in a few short years. The experiences, the challenges, the triumphs, they all seem to have left you feeling drained, as though nothing can fill the void within. Nothing surprises you anymore. It's all too familiar. You've walked the same path over and over, and now nothing feels fresh or exciting. Everything seems to repeat itself, and you begin to wonder if there's more to this life than what you are experiencing. Have you ever felt that sense of exhaustion, the kind that goes beyond physical tiredness, as if you were carrying a burden your spirit can no longer bear? This is a common sign that your soul is weary, and it's tired not just from the world, but from the endless cycle of life. Your soul has seen it all, felt it all, and now it longs for something more. It longs to return home, to the light it once knew, to the peace it was always meant to have. The weariness you feel is not just the result of your experiences, but a sign that your soul is awakening, preparing itself for a deeper journey, a journey back to the divine light. Psalm 23:2-3 says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul." This verse speaks to the very weariness of the soul that we all experience at times. In those quiet moments, when everything else fades away, the Lord offers rest and refreshment. The soul's tiredness is not a sign of failure, but of preparation. Your soul is being called to rest in God's presence, to be restored, and to reconnect with the divine. This is not just physical rest. It is a spiritual rest that replenishes your soul and prepares it for the next phase of its journey. And perhaps that's exactly it. Your soul is tired of the cycle. The endless repetition of the same patterns, the same disappointments, the same struggles. You are longing for change, for growth, for something that brings true fulfillment. You are tired because your soul is trying to tell you something. It's trying to awaken you to the truth that this life, this endless cycle, is not the end. There is something greater waiting for you. You are being called to step into the light, to move away from the cycle of repetition, and to embrace the divine path that is unfolding before you. Do you ever feel as though you've outgrown the life you once knew? As though the things that once brought joy now feel hollow and distant? This is your soul recognizing that it is ready to return home, to the light of God. The blue power within you is stirring, calling you to step into the light you were always meant to walk in. It is time for you to rise above the weariness, to awaken to the deeper calling that has always been a part of you. In Matthew 11:28-9, Jesus invites us saying, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." This invitation is a reminder that your soul's exhaustion is not something you must face alone. Jesus calls to you, offering the peace and rest that can only come from Him. As you step into the light, you will find that this rest is not just a moment of escape, but a deep, abiding peace that renews your spirit and prepares you to fulfill your divine purpose. Your soul is ready. It has been through much, but now it is beginning to recognize its true calling. The blue power, the divine energy that flows through you, is awakening. This awakening is not something that can be ignored. You may try to push it away, but deep within, you know that this call is undeniable. Your soul is ready to return home, and the time has come for you to embrace that truth fully. What would it mean for you to embrace this invitation? To fully accept that your soul is ready to return home to the light. The world may offer distractions, but they are nothing compared to the peace that comes when you step fully into the light of your true self. When you align with your divine purpose, when you allow the blue power within you to flow freely, you will experience the deep rest that your soul has been craving. And as you begin to awaken to the light, you will begin to see the world in a new way. The repetitive cycles will begin to lose their grip on you. You will start to notice the divine presence in every moment, in every experience, and in every person you encounter. The more you return to the light, the more your soul will shine, and others will be drawn to that light. Are you ready to let go of the cycles that have kept you bound, to step fully into the light that awaits you, and to embrace the divine calling that has always been within you? Your soul is not meant to remain tired, to stay in a place of emptiness and repetition. It is meant to shine, to rise, and to walk in the fullness of divine purpose. The time to return home to the light is now. In John 8:12, Jesus says, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." This is the promise you are being called to embrace. Your soul, once weary, is now ready to walk in the light, to follow the path of divine truth and purpose. The journey home is not far. It is already within you. It is time to return. The soul begins to tire when it has already learned what it came to learn. It reaches a point where the lessons of the world, with all its hustle and bustle, no longer resonate the way they once did. You no longer feel the need to prove anything, to chase after the goals that once seemed urgent or vital. The things you thought you couldn't live without suddenly lose their hold over you. What once defined your sense of worth, success, recognition, achievement, no longer holds the same power. You realize that these pursuits, these distractions, were never the answers you sought. The world's noise fades into the background, and what seemed important before now feels like a distant echo. Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of your own life, questioning why you feel less attached to the things that once mattered most? This is not a loss, but a profound awakening. Your soul has outgrown the old desires, the constant chase for external validation, and now it longs for something deeper, something more meaningful. This tiredness you feel is not a weakness, but a recognition that you have evolved. You are no longer driven by the urgency of the world, but by the deep calling of your soul to return to its true source, the light from which it came. This transformation isn't always easy. Letting go of the things that once filled your heart, the desires that once defined you, can feel like unraveling. But it's through this very process that your soul is preparing to step into the fullness of who you are meant to be. As 1 John 2:15-1-6 says, "Do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. For everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, comes not from the Father, but from the world." Your soul has realized that these fleeting desires, the chase for worldly things, are not the essence of true fulfillment. They are distractions, and now that you've learned what you came to learn, your soul is ready to leave them behind. What would it look like for you to fully release the worldly pursuits that once drove you and to embrace the deeper calling of your soul? This is the moment when the rush of life begins to feel unnecessary. The competition, the comparisons, the constant striving, they lose their meaning. You no longer feel the need to measure yourself against others, because you begin to recognize that your worth has never been defined by external standards. The soul that has learned what it came to learn no longer seeks to prove itself. It simply is. The soul's tiredness at this stage is the weariness of realization, the realization that the world's goals are not your own. You have touched the deeper truth of who you are, and you understand that your journey is one of spiritual alignment, not external validation. The world may seem too noisy, too chaotic, and for the first time, you may find yourself yearning for silence, for peace, for a return to the simplicity of the soul's true desires. Have you noticed how the world's noise seems louder now, how the busyness of life feels overwhelming? This isn't a coincidence. Your soul, now attuned to a deeper truth, is calling you to step away from the noise, to return to a place of stillness and clarity. This is the moment when you are called to surrender, to let go of the distractions that once dominated your existence. It is time to listen to your soul, to hear the quiet whispers that lead you back to the light. In 2 Corinthians 4:18, we are reminded, "So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." Your soul is shifting its focus from the temporary, from the visible world, to the eternal truths that are often hidden from the world's eyes. The things that once seemed urgent and important are revealed for what they truly are: fleeting, transient, and insignificant in the grand scheme of your soul's journey. The real work, the true fulfillment, comes from turning inward, from returning home to the light that has always resided within you. This is when the soul begins to awaken to its higher purpose. The exhaustion you feel is not from physical fatigue, but from the realization that you have learned the lessons of the world. Your soul is now ready to move beyond the illusions of the material world and reconnect with its true divine nature. As Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." In the stillness, in the silence, is where your soul finds its true home, in the light, in the truth, in the divine presence that has been with you all along. Are you ready to embrace this stillness, to allow your soul to return home to the light that awaits you? The rush of life, the competition, the desires that once drove you, they are no longer necessary. It is time to rest, to return to the divine source, and to remember the truth of who you are. This is the next step in your journey. The world may try to pull you back into its distractions, but you now know that there is something greater awaiting you. Your soul is ready to return home to the light, to the peace, and to the purpose that has always been yours. One of the first signs that your soul is ready to return home to the light is the sudden detachment from things that once seemed important. This is a profound shift, a deep realization that what once occupied your time, your energy, and your thoughts no longer holds the same weight in your life. You begin to look at everything you've built, the career, the relationships, the achievements, and you ask yourself, what for? It's not that these things are inherently wrong or bad, but they no longer have the same significance. The goals, the dreams that once filled your heart with passion no longer ignite that fire within you. They feel distant, hollow, and you find yourself wondering whether you ever really wanted them in the first place. Have you ever reached a point where the things that once defined your success now seem meaningless, as if the pursuit of them was never truly fulfilling? This detachment can feel unsettling at first. It's as though a veil has been lifted, and suddenly the things you once thought were of utmost importance now appear small, inconsequential. It's the beginning of a transition, a spiritual shift that signals the soul's readiness to step into something greater, something more aligned with its true purpose. This feeling of detachment is not a loss, it is a form of spiritual awakening. As you evolve, so too does your understanding of what truly matters. The things that once consumed your thoughts, the pursuit of material wealth, the desire for approval, the need for validation, no longer seem like the ultimate goals. You begin to recognize that these are merely distractions, temporary pursuits that cannot fulfill the deeper yearnings of your soul. The Apostle Paul speaks to this in Philippians 3-8. What is more, I consider everything a loss because of the surpassing worth of knowing Christ Jesus my Lord, for whose sake I have lost all things. I consider them garbage, that I may gain Christ. This is the essence of what you are beginning to understand. The world's pursuits, though important at one time, now seem insignificant when compared to the divine truth that you are being called toward. How would it feel for you to begin viewing your past ambitions with fresh eyes, understanding that they were stepping stones, not the destination? The things that once seemed grand now appear small, almost trivial. This is not because they were ever insignificant, but because your soul is awakening to a higher calling. It's a transition, a shift in perspective that allows you to see what truly matters. The material world and its illusions lose their grip on your heart, and your soul begins to align with the divine purpose it was always meant to fulfill. The things you once sought after now fade into the background, and you find yourself drawn to something deeper, more profound. In Matthew 6:19-1, Jesus says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This is the truth that begins to resonate within you as you go through this transition. You no longer seek treasures of the world, for you have begun to realize that true fulfillment lies in something far more lasting, something eternal. The treasures that you now seek are not material, but spiritual. This detachment is the soul's awakening to its true purpose. It's the moment when you begin to understand that the life you've been living, while meaningful in its own way, is not the life you were truly meant for. The world's expectations, the chase for success, the constant striving for approval, all of this becomes irrelevant when compared to the light and truth that your soul is now aligned with. What would it look like for you to fully embrace this shift, to let go of the things that no longer serve your soul's higher purpose? You are now in a place where your soul is free to follow the divine path that was always meant for you. The old dreams, the ones that once defined your life, are being replaced by something more profound, a deeper understanding of who you are and what you were truly created to do. The things that once seemed important now seem trivial because your soul is yearning for something greater. The blue power within you is beginning to awaken, and with it comes the clarity to see that everything you have been through, everything you have experienced, has been preparing you for this moment. You no longer need to prove anything to the world or to yourself. The pursuit of external validation fades away as you begin to walk in the truth of your divine purpose. This is the moment when your soul steps into its full potential, when the distractions of the world no longer pull you away from what truly matters. Are you ready to let go of the dreams that no longer move you, to embrace the divine calling that is awakening within you? The world's pursuits, the things that once seemed so urgent, no longer hold the same power over you. You are ready to step into the light of your true self, to follow the divine path that has always been waiting for you. At a certain point in your journey, you may feel a deep, inexplicable sadness, but this sadness is unlike anything you've experienced before. It is not depression. It's not the result of external circumstances, nor is it the aftermath of loss. It's a homesickness, a yearning that tugs at your soul from within. Have you ever felt that? It's as though something deep inside of you is longing for something you cannot quite name, something you cannot see or touch. It's not a longing for a place, a person, or a past moment in time. It's not something physical. This sadness is the soul's quiet whisper, reminding you that it remembers where it came from, a memory, not of earthly experiences, but of the divine state of being that it once knew, a state of peace, of light, of unity with the Creator. This feeling is more than just nostalgia, it's a recognition, a remembrance. Your soul is yearning for the vibration, the energy, the essence that it once lived in, a vibration that the earth can no longer offer in its current state. The world around you, with all its distractions and chaos, cannot compare to the frequency your soul remembers. As 1 Corinthians 2-9 reminds us, however, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love Him. This is the longing of your soul, the deep desire for a connection to something greater, to something eternal that exists beyond the confines of earthly life. What is it that your soul is truly yearning for? What is it that feels so distant, yet so familiar? This feeling of homesickness is not something that can be easily explained. It's a longing for a state of being, for a divine connection that feels just out of reach, but still ever present within you. It's as if your soul is trying to remind you of the place you came from, the source of your existence, the light from which you emerged. This is the truth. Your soul is remembering its origin, its true home. And while the world offers distractions, it cannot fulfill this deep spiritual yearning. This feeling of homesickness is not a sign of something broken within you, but a sign that your soul is awakening, that it is beginning to remember where it truly belongs. It's not a call to return to the past, but a call to return to your true nature, to the divine light from which you were created. You are here on earth for a time, but your soul has always existed in the presence of the divine. This longing is a recognition that you are, in essence, a being of light, temporarily living in a world that cannot fully satisfy the deepest desires of your soul. Have you felt this yearning deep within you, a calling that is not of this world? It's the soul's way of reminding you that the true fulfillment you seek cannot be found in earthly achievements, relationships, or possessions. The peace, the unity, and the divine connection your soul longs for are found only in the light that exists both within you and beyond you. And this longing, this homesickness, is the first step in your journey back home, back to that light. In Romans 8:22-3, Paul writes, "We know that the whole creation has been groaning, as in the pains of childbirth, right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies." This passage speaks to the deep inner yearning we all feel, the groaning of creation, the longing for redemption, the desire for the restoration of the divine connection that was lost. Your soul, in its homesickness, is groaning, waiting, and longing for its return to that perfect state of being, to the light of God's presence. The sadness you feel is a reflection of the space between where you are now and where your soul remembers it once was. But do not mistake this sadness for something negative. It is the sacred longing of your soul to reunite with the divine, to remember your true purpose, and to reconnect with the vibration that you were created to live in. This homesickness is a sign that you are awakening, that your soul is calling you back to your divine essence. What would it mean for you to embrace this longing, to let it guide you back to the light that you were always meant to return to? This longing is not to be ignored or dismissed. It is an invitation. The more you allow yourself to feel this yearning, the more you will be led to the truth of who you are. Your soul is calling you home to the light. And as you listen to this inner call, you will find the peace you seek, the fulfillment you long for, and the connection to the divine that has always been waiting for you. Are you ready to embrace the homesickness of your soul, to answer the call to return to the light, and to step fully into the divine purpose for which you were created? The time has come to listen to the deeper call within you, to trust in the divine path that is unfolding, and to allow your soul to return home. As your soul continues its journey of awakening, there comes a point where the weariness deepens. The soul begins to question everything, for it no longer desires to repeat the same patterns, the same cycles, the same experiences over and over again. This questioning is not born from doubt, but from a deeper, more profound longing, a longing to break free from the repetitive loops of life that seem to trap you in the same place. Have you ever found yourself standing in the midst of your own life, asking, "Why am I here? Why does everything feel the same? Why does it feel as though I am constantly reliving the same patterns?" These questions are not a coincidence. They are the soul's way of resisting the cycle, of trying to break free from the repetition that has held you captive for so long. Your soul knows that it is meant for more than the mundane, more than the endless loops of repetition that the world offers. It is calling you to step into something greater, to transcend the patterns that no longer serve you, and to walk a path of divine purpose and truth. The repetitive nature of life, the feelings of being stuck or stagnant, are not punishments, but signs that your soul is awakening to a higher truth. The cycles you have lived through, the patterns of thought, behavior, and emotion that have repeated themselves over and over again, are simply the soul's way of reminding you that there is more to be discovered, more to be experienced. What would it mean for you to step out of these cycles and embrace the unknown, the path that leads you to your true purpose? In Romans 12:2, we are told, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." This is the very invitation your soul is responding to, the call to stop conforming to the patterns that have kept you bound, and to allow your mind, your heart, and your soul to be transformed by the renewing power of divine truth. The soul's resistance to the loop is not an act of rebellion, it is an act of awakening. It is your soul's way of seeking the light, of trying to align with the divine will that is greater than the cycles of this world. Have you felt that inner resistance, that pull to break free from the repetitive patterns that seem to follow you? It's not by accident that these questions arise within you. The soul is telling you that you are ready for a shift. The patterns you have experienced, whether in relationships, work, or personal struggles, are simply reflections of the unhealed parts of your soul, the parts of you that are ready to transcend the past and step into a new level of awareness. This is the soul's cry for freedom, for release from the cycle that has kept it bound. As you begin to question the patterns, you are stepping into a new phase of your spiritual journey, a phase where you begin to understand that your soul is not here to repeat itself. You are here to evolve, to grow, and to align with the divine calling that has always been within you. The questioning you feel is a sign that your soul is ready to shed the old layers, the old cycles, and step into the fullness of its purpose. In Ecclesiastes 3:1, it is written, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." The soul's longing for change, for transformation, is simply the recognition that your current season has come to an end. You are being called into a new season of life, a season where you no longer have to repeat the same mistakes, the same lessons, or the same patterns. The patterns that once defined you no longer hold the same power over you. It is time for you to step into a new chapter, one where your soul can finally fulfill the purpose it was always meant to carry. This is the moment of breakthrough. The soul's questioning is not a sign of confusion, but of clarity. It is your soul recognizing that it is time to break free from the old cycles and embrace the new. You are ready to move beyond the loops, beyond the repetitive patterns, and step into a life that is aligned with divine truth and purpose. Are you ready to release the old patterns and allow your soul to be transformed, to step into the light that has always been waiting for you? The time for repeating the past has come to an end. It's time to embrace the new, to allow the divine light to break the cycle and lead you to a higher purpose. This is not just about breaking old habits or patterns, but about stepping into the fullness of your divine identity. The soul is no longer content with the cycles of the past. It is ready to awaken to its true nature, to the divine light that it has always been meant to embody? Will you answer the call of your soul to break free from the cycle and walk into the light that awaits you? The time for repetition is over. Your soul is ready to transcend the past and step into the fullness of divine purpose and truth. As your soul continues to awaken, you begin to feel a subtle shift, one that may not make sense to those around you, but is deeply true for you. Have you noticed how, without any logical explanation, you start to distance yourself from places, people, and situations that once felt familiar? It's as if something within you is pulling you away from the very environments that once brought you comfort or a sense of belonging. Suddenly, you find that you no longer fit in. You no longer feel the urge to be in the same places, to have the same conversations, or to continue playing the same roles that you once did. There's no clear reason for this shift, yet you can feel it, a deep, undeniable change within yourself. This is not a sign of rebellion or alienation, but of spiritual growth. Your soul is moving at a different rhythm now, one that no longer aligns with the things that once defined your life. The environments that once nourished you, the people who once felt like your tribe, no longer match the new frequency that your soul is attuned to. It's as though you've been elevated to a higher vibration, and those old experiences, those old connections, no longer resonate with who you are becoming. Can you feel it, this quiet shift within you? It's not that you are turning your back on the past, but rather that the past is falling away naturally. As you begin to align more closely with your divine purpose, what doesn't serve you, the relationships, the spaces, the behaviors, begins to fall apart. They no longer hold the same value or meaning. You begin to realize that you cannot continue to walk in the same circles, engage in the same patterns, or partake in the same energy that once felt normal. It's not a rejection of others, but a recognition that you are being called to something greater, something that requires a new alignment. This shift is a natural part of your soul's awakening. As Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." The transformation you are undergoing is not just an internal change, it is affecting every aspect of your life. The places you once frequented, the people you once surrounded yourself with, and the situations you once found yourself in are simply no longer aligned with the new path your soul is walking. And while this can be difficult or confusing at first, it is a necessary part of your spiritual evolution. What would it mean for you to fully embrace this shift, to allow yourself to let go of the old environments and embrace the new ones that align with your higher purpose? It's important to understand that you are not walking away from people or places in anger or bitterness. You are simply walking towards your true self, and as you do, the things that no longer resonate with that truth will naturally fall away. This is not a rejection of who you once were, but a recognition that you have outgrown certain aspects of your old life. Your soul is evolving, and it is calling you to a new rhythm, one that aligns with your higher calling. As you begin to distance yourself from these old connections, you may find that what once seemed important, the approval of others, the need to fit in, the desire to keep up with the world's pace, starts to lose its grip on your heart. You begin to realize that your true peace and fulfillment lie not in the approval of others, but in the alignment of your soul with divine purpose. You are being called to move into spaces that are more in tune with the higher vibration of your true self. In 2 Corinthians 6:17, it is written, "Therefore, come out from them and be separate, says the Lord. Touch no unclean thing, and I will receive you." This is the call to step away from what no longer serves your soul's purpose and to embrace a new way of being, a new environment that reflects the light and the truth of who you are becoming. It is not a call to isolation, but a call to purification, to create space for the new, for the divine connections that will support you on your journey. Have you felt the call to separate from certain people, places, or situations, even if you don't fully understand why? Trust that this pull is not random. It is a sign of your soul's readiness to evolve. The rhythm of your life is changing, and what doesn't match you, what no longer aligns with your divine purpose is falling apart. This is the soul's way of saying, it's time to move forward. It's time to embrace the new, to step into the spaces and relationships that will help you grow into the person you were always meant to be. The more you allow this separation to unfold naturally, the more you will see how perfectly the universe aligns with your divine purpose. The people who are meant to walk with you, the environments that will nurture your soul's growth, will naturally come into your life. The old will make way for the new. As Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" This is the new thing that is springing up in your life, the divine rhythm, the divine path that is uniquely yours. As you let go of what no longer serves you, you make space for the new things that God has prepared for you. Are you ready to fully embrace this new rhythm, to allow the old to fall away, and to step boldly into the new spaces and relationships that are aligned with your higher purpose? Trust that this process, though it may feel uncomfortable at times, is a divine unfolding. Your soul is moving in harmony with the divine, and as you follow this rhythm, you will find yourself exactly where you are meant to be, walking in the light of your true calling. There comes a moment in the journey when life itself begins to silence you. The noise of the world quiets, the distractions fade, and the rhythm of your existence seems to slow down. At first, this silence feels unsettling. Have you ever felt as though everything around you is coming to a standstill? Your projects stop, the people you once were close to drift away, your plans seem to crumble, and everything you try to hold on to starts to slip through your fingers. It's as though the universe has pressed pause and nothing seems to move forward. It's easy to mistake this pause for punishment, to believe that life is turning against you. But this silence is not a form of punishment, it is a divine preparation. This stillness, though uncomfortable, is not something to fear. It is the soul's way of finding space to reflect, to rest, and to decide. The weariness of your spirit has brought you to this place of silence, a place where you are no longer distracted by the external world. You've been given the space to pause, to breathe, and to reconsider what is truly important. What would it mean for you to embrace this silence instead of fighting it, to allow it to guide you rather than resist it? As Ecclesiastes 3:7 reminds us, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak. This silence is the time to tear, the time to break free from the patterns and distractions that no longer serve you. It's the moment when the old is being cleared away, preparing you for something new. The projects that once filled your time and energy are now halted, and the people who once surrounded you seem to have drifted away. But this is not the universe abandoning you. It is creating space for you to reconnect with your inner self, to rediscover your purpose, and to decide if it is time to continue on the path you have been walking, or if it's time to step into something entirely new. Have you noticed how, in these moments of silence, you feel both lost and at the same time strangely at peace? It's as if you're standing on the edge of something monumental, but you don't yet know what that something is. This is the soul's moment of reflection. The pause is necessary for you to decide, to choose. Will I return to the light, or is it time to end this cycle and move forward in a completely new direction? This silence is not just the absence of sound or activity. It is a sacred space where the soul can recalibrate. The weariness you feel is not the end, but the beginning of something new. It is an invitation to return to the light, to reconnect with the divine purpose that has always been within you. As Psalm 46:10 tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." In the stillness, in the silence, you can hear the divine whispers that have been drowned out by the noise of the world. Your soul, now in this quiet space, can finally hear the calling it has been waiting for. The question is no longer whether you are capable, but whether you are willing to return to the light, to embrace the divine path that is unfolding before you. What would it mean for you to let go of the need for external validation, to release the projects, the relationships, and the plans that no longer resonate with your soul's calling? This silence, this pause, is the time to decide whether you are ready to continue the cycle or whether it's time to step into a new season of your life, one that is aligned with your true divine purpose. The soul's weariness has brought you to this moment where the external world has quieted and the only voice left to listen to is the voice of your soul. Will you listen? Will you embrace the silence, trust in its purpose, and allow it to guide you back to your divine light? The decision is yours, but know that this pause is a sacred opportunity to reset, to reconnect, and to realign with your true self. In Isaiah 40:31, it is written, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint." This is the promise of the pause, that through the silence, through the stillness, your strength will be renewed. You are not stuck, you are being prepared. The time you spend in this pause is not wasted. It is where your soul finds its clarity, its peace, and its strength for what is to come. Are you ready to embrace this moment of silence, to trust in its purpose, and to listen for the divine guidance that is waiting for you? This is not the end, but the beginning of a new chapter. The cycle is breaking, and your soul is being prepared to return home to the light. As you continue on your journey of spiritual awakening, you may start to notice something profound happening. Memories of other lives, experiences you can't quite place, begin to emerge subtly. Have you ever dreamed of places you've never been, or felt an inexplicable connection to cultures you've never studied? You may find yourself speaking words in a language you've never learned, or feeling an affinity for people and places that seem foreign to your current life. At first, this might seem like coincidence or imagination, but these are not random occurrences. These are leaks from the soul. The layers of forgetfulness that have veiled your past lives are beginning to dissolve. Your soul is awakening to the truth that it no longer wants to repeat itself. It is ready to remember, to reconnect with the wisdom it has accumulated across time. This remembrance is not an accident. It is the soul's gentle way of breaking through the veil of forgetfulness, revealing the depths of its true identity. It's as though your soul is calling you back to the essence of who you are, beyond the name, beyond the body, beyond this lifetime. As Ecclesiastes 3:11 tells us, "He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end." The soul, in its deep yearning for the truth, begins to recognize that it has experienced more than this current life, and it wants to reclaim all that it has forgotten. Have you noticed this feeling, as though you're reconnecting with something deeper, a part of you that exists beyond this current lifetime? Your soul is no longer content to simply live in the present, but is beginning to remember the paths it has walked before. The dreams, the sensations, the connections you feel, they are all signs that your soul is returning to its origin, remembering the wisdom and experiences it has gathered across lifetimes. This is not just a shift in consciousness, it is a return to your spiritual truth, a return home to the light. As the soul begins to remember, you may also experience a profound sense of déjà vu. Do you ever feel as though you've lived through this moment before, as though you already know what's going to happen next? It's not just a fleeting sense of familiarity, it's a deep knowing, a feeling that this life, with all its predictability, has already been lived in some form or another. The repetition, the patterns, the cycles, they all begin to feel exhausting. You're weary with the predictability of life, and your soul begins to whisper, "This experience is no longer new. I've done this before. I've done this before, and now I want something more." This is the soul's call for growth, for evolution. It is telling you that the experiences that once brought you meaning no longer do. It's not a desire for escapism, but a longing for transformation, for a life that moves beyond the confines of repetition. The soul is asking for more than the surface-level experiences that have filled your days. It is seeking a deeper, more authentic connection with the divine, with the truth, with its true purpose. Have you found yourself questioning the meaning of your spiritual journey, wondering if the answers you've been given are truly satisfying? As the search for spiritual answers intensifies, you may find that no religion, no doctrine, no system of belief seems to hold the answers you seek. The ready-made doctrines, the memorized prayers, and the limiting beliefs of the past no longer resonate with you. Your soul is calling for something more. It wants truth, it wants essence, it wants a connection to something far greater than what you've been taught. It knows there's something bigger behind it all, but that something cannot be contained within temples, dogmas, or rituals. It is a living truth, an essence that transcends the physical and can only be felt and experienced in the depths of the soul. As you question these old systems, the soul begins to dismantle the identity that was created in this life. Have you ever found yourself asking, who am I, really? Am I just this name, this job, this story I've told myself for years? The truth begins to emerge. I am not just this person. I am something that existed long before all of this, and I am returning to that point of origin. The ego begins to collapse, and with it, the false sense of identity that has kept you tethered to the past. The soul recognizes that it is not bound by the roles it has played in this life. It is a divine being, part of a greater whole, and it is awakening to its true purpose. This process of spiritual awakening can create discomfort in relationships, as the people around you no longer seem to understand the transformation you are going through. Have you felt a sense of isolation, even when surrounded by loved ones? The relationships that once felt comfortable, familiar, and nurturing may now become uncomfortable mirrors. You begin to feel out of place, as though your soul is vibrating at a frequency that others cannot hear or understand. It's not arrogance. It's a transition. Your soul is moving at a pace that others may not yet comprehend, and the discomfort that arises is a sign that you are growing, evolving, and stepping into a new phase of your spiritual journey. As the discomfort grows, you will begin to seek out others who are on the same path, others whose souls are vibrating at the same frequency. You will find your soul family, the ones who understand the changes you are going through, who share the same spiritual longing. As you connect with them, the sense of isolation will fade, and you will feel a deep sense of belonging, not just to them, but to the greater spiritual family that is awakening to the truth. Are you ready to embrace the discomfort of this transition, to step into a new phase of your spiritual journey, and to trust that you will find the souls who are meant to walk with you? This is not a lonely path. It is a path of awakening, of remembering, and of returning home to the light. As you shed the old layers of your identity and step into your true self, you will find that you are not alone. You are surrounded by others who are walking the same path, and together, you will create a community of souls that support and uplift one another as you all return to the divine light. As your spiritual awakening deepens, you begin to understand the spiritual purpose behind every pain you've endured. Have you ever looked back at your life and realized that each hardship, the loss, the trauma, the failures, had a greater meaning? The soul, weary from its journey, now sees the bigger picture, and suddenly, everything begins to make sense. The suffering that once felt pointless or unjust now reveals itself as part of the divine design. You understand that nothing in your life has been by chance. Every experience, every moment of pain was leading you to a deeper truth. What if you began to see your struggles as steps on your soul's path, guiding you to the light? This understanding brings peace. It is a peace that comes from knowing that even in the darkest moments of your life, you were never truly alone. God was guiding you all along, using each hardship to shape you, to refine you, and to prepare you for the path that lies ahead. Even when the soul feels weary, it can look back and recognize that it was always being led by a higher purpose. As Romans 8:28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." This peace is the soul's recognition that no experience is wasted. Even in suffering, the divine was present, shaping you, guiding you, and preparing you for this moment of awakening. And as you begin to grasp the purpose behind the pain, you may also begin to experience a profound shift in your understanding of death. Have you ever felt that death no longer holds the same fear it once did? It ceases to be something to avoid or dread. Instead, it becomes a portal, a passage from this life to the next. You stop seeing death as an end and begin to see it as a return, a homecoming. You don't desire death, but neither do you reject it. In the quiet moments of reflection, you realize that when the time comes, it will not be the end, but a return to your true essence, to the divine light from which you came. The weary soul no longer fears leaving this world. It only fears not living truthfully while it is still here. What would it look like for you to embrace each moment fully, knowing that your soul is eternal and that every breath you take brings you closer to the light? As your soul continues to awaken, you may feel more and more like you don't belong in this world. This feeling is not a flaw, it is a sign. Have you ever felt as though you're out of place, as though you're living in the wrong time, with the wrong body, in the wrong world? From an early age, you've carried this feeling of being disconnected, of being somewhere your soul doesn't quite belong. But perhaps it is not a mistake at all. What if your soul has inhabited many worlds, touched many realities, lived countless versions of itself in different times and spaces? This feeling of being out of place could be a sign that your soul has already seen too much, experienced too much, and now, in this life, it only observes. It has traveled far and wide, and in doing so, it is beginning to recognize that this world, with all its limitations and distractions, is not its true home. As you move deeper into this awakening, the need for silence becomes urgent. Have you noticed how the external noise and confusion of the world seem to weigh more heavily on you now? Shallow conversations, constant distractions, the busyness of modern life, all of these lose their meaning. The soul is turning inward, seeking solace in silence, because it is in silence that the soul begins to reconnect with its true self. It is in silence that you begin to hear the whispers of the divine, to remember who you really are. What would it mean for you to seek out this silence, not as an escape, but as a way to heal, to reconnect, and to rediscover your divine purpose? The process of spiritual awakening also leads to a deep inner emptiness. Do you feel as though you are emptying yourself, but not in a way that leaves you lacking? It's not that you are losing, but that you are returning to the essence of who you are. Your ambitions, your certainties, and your attachments to goals and external achievements begin to fall away. What was once a goal now becomes an illusion, and with that realization, you feel lighter, more at peace. This emptiness is not a loss, it is a purification. The soul sheds what no longer belongs to it, carrying only what is essential, what is eternal. As Jesus says in Matthew 16:25, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it." This is the process of losing the false self, of emptying out what the world has imposed upon you in order to step into your true, divine essence. Time itself becomes strange during this process. Have you ever felt as though time is slipping away, or that it's standing still? Some days seem to fly by in a blur, while others stretch on forever. You look at the clock, the calendar, and it feels like you're out of sync with time itself. The soul in transition vibrates between dimensions, between lifetimes, between realities. It is no longer bound by the constraints of linear time. What would it mean for you to embrace this fluidity of time, to recognize that you are no longer bound by the old cycles, but are shifting into a new frequency? The disarray of time is simply a reflection of the soul's transition, its movement between the material world and the divine realm. Finally, you begin to find that solitude becomes sacred. Do you feel drawn to spend more time alone, away from the noise of the world? You no longer fear solitude. In fact, you begin to embrace it, recognizing that in the silence and stillness of solitude, something sacred is being revealed. The weary soul does not want distractions or superficial interactions. It desires communion with the divine, a deeper connection that cannot be found in the external world. What would it mean for you to honor this need for solitude, to allow it to guide you into deeper communion with your true self and with the divine source? As you continue on your path, know this: the weary soul is being prepared for something greater, something beyond this world's distractions and illusions. You are not lost. You are in the process of shedding the old, stepping into the new, and returning to the light from which you came. This is your awakening, your return home. As you move deeper into your spiritual awakening, you begin to realize something profound. The love you've been seeking isn't for someone else, but for something you've lost within yourself. Have you ever thought that the longing in your heart was for a person, only to discover that what you truly desired was a reunion with yourself? The love, the longing, the deep ache was never for someone outside of you. It was a yearning for a forgotten part of yourself, for a light that has been dimmed, for a memory buried deep within your soul. The weary soul no longer seeks fleeting passions or temporary fixes. It longs for a reunion with the eternal, the part of you that exists beyond the confines of time and space. And this reunion begins within you. It begins with the remembrance of your true essence, the light that you once were and that you always will be. What if you stopped seeking love outside of yourself and instead turned inward to the light that has always been within? As you return to this light, you will begin to feel the wholeness you've been searching for. This journey is not about finding something or someone to fill you, but about reconnecting with the divine love that already exists within you. As 1 John 4:16 reminds us, "So we have come to know and to believe the love that God has for us. God is love." The love you seek is not separate from you. It is the very essence of who you are. As this understanding settles in, you may feel as though you have already given everything you had to give. Have you ever felt like you've poured out every last bit of yourself, and now you simply need to retreat? The weary soul no longer has the energy to fight, to convince, or to justify its existence. It has already been everything: the father, the mother, the victim, the villain, the healer, the wounded. And now it simply wants to rest. But this rest is not physical. It is energetic. The soul is tired of repeating lessons it has already learned. It is calling for stillness, for peace, for the space to simply be, without the constant pressure of doing or becoming. What would it mean for you to allow yourself to rest in this moment, to stop fighting and simply be at peace with who you are right now? In this resting, you begin to live more on other planes than on this one. Do you ever feel as though your consciousness is expanding beyond the confines of this physical reality? It's as if you're here, but not fully here. Your soul begins to visit other dimensions, whether in dreams, in deep meditations, or in moments of quiet reflection. The material world, with all its distractions, no longer holds the same weight. What would it mean for you to fully embrace this shift, to allow yourself to experience the eternal instead of the transient? Your soul, in its awakening, longs to connect with the infinite, to explore the realms beyond the physical. As this shift occurs, fluidity becomes your new way of being. Have you found yourself letting go of rigid plans, of trying to control tomorrow, of clinging to things that can be taken away? The weary soul knows that life is not about holding on to what is fleeting. Instead, it learns to live in the present with reverence, for it understands that time is merely an illusion, a tool for learning. As you release the need to control and cling to the future, you begin to flow with life, trusting that everything will unfold as it should. What would it mean for you to fully embrace the flow of life, to let go of the need to control and simply trust in the divine timing of all things? As you do, you will find that you are no longer caught in the cycle of fear and striving, but in a peaceful rhythm that aligns with your true self. At the same time, you may begin to feel that something is waiting for you beyond the veil of this life. Do you ever sense that there is something much greater beyond this world, something calling you to return home? Death, once a source of fear, begins to lose its power. Instead of seeing it as an end, you begin to perceive it as a portal, a return to the source. You no longer fear leaving, but instead you feel a quiet confidence in the return. What would it mean for you to stop fearing death and instead embrace the certainty that it is not the end, but a beautiful return to the divine light from which you came? The weary soul no longer clings to this world out of fear, but is ready to cross the threshold when the time comes, knowing that it is not an ending, but a continuation of the soul's journey. Finally, as you move through this transition, intuition becomes the language of your existence. Have you noticed how you begin to sense things before they happen, to perceive signs in everything around you? A look, a song, a passing breeze, all of these small moments begin to speak to you. Your mind falls silent, and your heart begins to listen with a new language, one that can only be understood by the soul that has lived so much and is now attuned to the divine. What would it mean for you to trust this new language, to follow the guidance of your intuition, and to allow your soul to lead you with its quiet wisdom? As you embrace this new way of being, know that your soul is awakening to the light that has always been within. The journey of returning home to the light is not about seeking something outside of you, but about rediscovering the truth of who you are. Your soul is no longer content with the distractions of the world. It is seeking the eternal, the divine, and the true essence of its purpose. Are you ready to listen to the whispers of your soul, to trust its guidance, and to step into the light that awaits you? The time for awakening has come, and the journey home is already unfolding. As you continue to awaken to your divine essence, you will begin to notice that judgment, once so ingrained in your mind, begins to disappear. Have you ever felt the heavy weight of judgment, whether towards yourself or others? As the soul evolves, you realize that there is no need for criticism or resentment. The harsh judgments you once held towards people, situations, and yourself dissolve into an immense compassion. You see that every being is on their own journey, each soul at its own stage of growth. What would it feel like to release all judgment, to embrace the truth that everyone is walking their own path at their own pace? This understanding brings a profound lightness to the soul. The weariness of judgment falls away, because you now recognize that when you are tired of reincarnating, you are also tired of condemning. The soul has learned enough. It no longer wishes to judge or criticize. All that remains is a desire to love, to accept, and to move forward in peace. In this release, you discover that true freedom lies not in condemning, but in loving unconditionally. As Matthew 7:1-2 reminds us, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." The weary soul recognizes that love, not judgment, is the highest calling. Alongside this compassion, you begin to find that the simple things in life once overlooked or taken for granted are now the only truly valuable things. Have you found yourself in awe of the beauty of a sunset, or the peace in a quiet moment? A sincere hug, a shared laugh, the stillness of nature, these become the treasures of your life. You no longer feel the need for grand events or achievements to feel fulfilled. Your soul is content with the essential, because it is in the essential that you find the remembrance of what is eternal. What if you began to treasure the quiet moments, the simple acts of love and connection, for in these, the soul touches eternity. As your soul shifts, you begin to feel as though you are being called back to the center of existence itself. Have you ever felt that quiet whisper, the pull to return, to rest, to gather your energy? It is not a call to give up or retreat in fear, but a call to reconnect, to return to the heart of all that is. Your soul recognizes that it has completed a cycle, and now it is ready for the next stage of evolution. This is not an end, but a new beginning. As Psalm 23:2-3 says, "He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul." In these quiet moments of rest, your soul is prepared to move forward with renewed strength, clarity, and purpose. Do you feel that sense of completion, that knowing that you've reached the end of a chapter and are ready to step into something new. You begin to say goodbye to everything, but not with drama or heaviness. Goodbyes, once filled with sorrow and attachment, now feel light and peaceful, like gently closing a book with gratitude for the story it told. You say goodbye to old ideas, identities, and desires, not because they were wrong, but because they have fulfilled their purpose. Your soul has outgrown them, and now it simply moves on, free from the weight of attachments. This is not an act of loss, but an act of evolution. The farewell is peaceful, because the soul understands that the journey continues, just in a new form. How would it feel for you to say goodbye to what no longer serves you, to release the attachments that have kept you bound, and to embrace the freedom of evolution? This is the soul's way of shedding its old skin, its outdated beliefs, and its limiting identities. It is a natural part of the process of returning home to the light. As you move through this process, the weary soul comes to understand that there is no such thing as an end. Have you ever wondered if the concept of death and endings is merely an illusion? The weary soul knows that there is no end, only transformation. There is no permanent loss, only the constant flow of change as everything recycles and evolves. What would it mean for you to see everything as part of an eternal cycle, where the essence never dies, but simply changes form? This understanding brings peace to the soul, for it realizes that it does not go away, it evolves. It returns to the divine source, only to emerge in a new form, ready to continue its journey. As 2 Corinthians 5:1 tells us, "For we know that if the earthly tent we live in is destroyed, we have a building from God, an eternal house in heaven, not built by human hands." The soul, in its wisdom, understands that death is not the end. It is simply the transition to something new, something eternal. The weary soul, now in harmony with this understanding, no longer fears what is to come. It no longer fears the passing of time or the unknown. It simply embraces the flow of life, knowing that it is part of an eternal process. The soul rests in the assurance that everything is unfolding as it should, and that there is no need to cling to the past or fear the future. Are you ready to embrace the eternal truth that life is not about endings, but about transformation? The soul, in its wisdom, understands this truth. It is not bound by time or space. It is eternal, and it is always evolving. As the soul nears its final stages of awakening, there comes a moment when it is ready to stop, not in fear, but in profound relief. Have you ever felt that, deep down, your soul is ready for rest, not out of sadness or discouragement, but because it has given everything it could? This is not a sign of surrender out of despair. It is a moment of deep peace, like taking a long, deep breath after centuries of holding your breath. The soul knows that it has offered the best of itself. It has loved deeply, taken bold risks, erred courageously, suffered with dignity, and now it is ready for silence. This silence is not a retreat or escape. It is the peace that comes from knowing that every experience, every choice, and every moment of life has been fully embraced. What would it mean for you to allow yourself to rest in the deep satisfaction that you have given your all, and now you can let go? This moment is the culmination of a life lived with purpose. The soul no longer feels the pressure to do more, to seek more, or to become more. It simply rests, knowing that it has fulfilled its mission. This is not the end, but the completion of one chapter in the soul's eternal journey. As the soul rests in this peace, you may begin to feel a longing for the spiritual world that is more real than anything this life has offered. Have you ever felt a deep yearning for a place you've never been, a place that exists beyond this reality, a place your soul recognizes as home? This longing is not just wishful thinking or nostalgia. It is a cosmic yearning, a vibrational memory of a time and place your soul has already experienced. What would it feel like to acknowledge this longing, to honor the wisdom of your soul, which knows that its true home is beyond the physical world? As the end of the cycle approaches, this feeling intensifies. The soul remembers the peace, the stillness, the light it once knew, and it longs to return to it. In this process, consciousness expands. Have you noticed how the more you awaken, the less you identify with your body, with time, or with the limitations of this world? The mirror no longer shows you who you truly are. The calendar no longer defines your age or your existence. You feel that you have always existed, that your life did not begin here and will not end here. You begin to recognize yourself as a traveler, a fragment of eternity moving through this life. You are not bound by the physical world, and as you expand in consciousness, you understand that this is just one stop in your eternal journey. The soul, in its wisdom, is preparing for the next leap, the next phase of its evolution. In this expanded awareness, silence becomes more sacred. Have you ever noticed how, in the quietest moments, you hear a deeper truth that no words can express? The world around you may speak loudly, but it is the silence that whispers the ancient wisdom of the universe. The soul, in its weariness, now seeks this silence, because in it, it finds its true compass. What would it mean for you to fully embrace this silence, to listen to what the world cannot hear, and to trust that the soul already knows where it needs to go? The subtle whispers of the silence guide the soul, showing it the way forward, not in a loud, frantic rush, but in quiet trust and clarity. As you continue to walk this path, you will begin to notice that your soul no longer seeks answers. Have you ever felt as though the need for answers, for understanding, has faded away, leaving only peace in its place? The questioning ceases. The urgency, the restlessness, the fear of the unknown, it all disappears. In its place, confidence, serenity, and acceptance arise. The soul knows that everything is as it should be, that every path it has walked has been the right one, and that in the grand tapestry of existence there are no mistakes, only paths leading back to the light. The weary soul no longer needs to search for answers, because it has come to understand the deeper truth. Everything is unfolding as it should, and there is peace in knowing. As you embrace this state of being, consider the words of Isaiah 55:8-9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. This is the peace the soul comes to understand, that even in the moments of questioning and uncertainty, the divine has a higher perspective, guiding you along a path you may not always understand, but one that is perfect in its unfolding. Are you ready to embrace the peace and trust that everything in your life is part of your soul's journey, and that you are exactly where you need to be? The weary soul has lived, learned, and loved. Now, it rests in the assurance that it is always connected to the divine, always guided by the light. There is no end to this journey, only transformation, only evolution, only the continuous flow of the soul toward the light it has always known. Matthew 11:28 reminds us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." This invitation is not just for rest in the physical sense, but for a deeper, spiritual rest. The weary soul is being called to rest in the assurance that it has done all it came here to do, that it is held in divine grace, and that it is being led back to its true source. And so, the weary soul finds its peace, not in the answers or in the striving, but in the silence, in the trust, and in the understanding that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. And in this peace, the soul continues its journey, not in fear of the unknown, but in confidence that it is always evolving, always moving toward the light. We have just journeyed together through a profound spiritual awakening, where the soul seeks not only peace in this world, but a return to eternal light. Each sign we uncovered in this journey is not only the awakening of the soul, but also a rebirth, a homecoming to oneself. As we've seen, when the soul is ready to return to the light, it no longer fears or worries about endings. Instead, it finds stillness, absolute peace, and trust in its eternal journey. When the soul reconnects with its true essence, it no longer needs to prove itself or chase after temporary goals. Instead, the soul only needs to return to the truth it has always known, a truth that transcends time and space, where every event in life is not random but part of a greater plan, an endless evolution. And once that truth is realized, the soul finds tranquility, understanding that all pain and challenges served a purpose and led to its spiritual growth. The important thing is that you, the chosen one, are not alone on this journey. The path of soul awakening is a sacred one, where you are called to find the deepest connection with yourself and with the Source. If what we've shared today resonates with you, don't hesitate to share your feelings. Please like, share, and leave a comment below this video so our community can continue to grow, learn, and walk this spiritual path together. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on upcoming videos where we continue to share lessons, stories, and insights that will guide you on this path. We also want to thank everyone who has supported the channel, whether through super thanks or simply by engaging with our content. Your support is an incredible motivation for us to keep sharing these spiritual values, helping each of us discover our true nature and awaken on our spiritual journey. Finally, I want to send you my sincerest blessings. I wish that you always find peace within your soul, that you stay open to the truth and light that life brings. Remember, this journey is not about reaching an end, but living a life of constant evolution, where every step is growth and every moment holds a valuable lesson. Thank you for walking this path with us. I hope you will continue to have faith in yourself and in your spiritual journey. May you always find peace and continue to rise towards the light of awakening.